This conference will now be recorded.
I believe we don't have any amendments, so just need approval adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Review the minutes from the December 15th regular meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve the December 15th minutes.
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. I'll just do a quick recognition of our outgoing two council. Oh, you have to abstain, sorry. 3-0-2.
Yes.
Thanks, Tina. We're going to miss that. So I'll have Tina Hostegger come up here quick. Got a little dirt with you here in a second. Just have a nice little plaque, different than a badge. I just want to thank you for the 11 years of service representing the city of Sonora and all the great work, and you'll be missed and we'll appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you. You get one? Get a close up. Thank you. And just, if anybody have any thank yous or anything they want to talk?
I do.
I think Lucy does.
I do. I just wanted to give my appreciation to Tina for the years of support for the police department and her leadership as councilwoman. And we do really appreciate where you brought us to today. And
Thank you.
I believe that you've really taken a lot of things by the horns to get us where we needed to be. And I appreciate your interest in the public safety of this city. So thank you.
Appreciate
Thanks,
that.
Tina. Dirk?
Yours is for only 11 days.
I just want to thank you for your 6 months of helping at city council, and you kind of got thrown in it, and you did a great job for you, and you'll be missed.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. There you
Wow,
go.
that's really nice.
Anybody want, Chief, you want to say thank you too?
Sure, I would love to.
Dirk, here's
Dirk, I do appreciate your support of our department, and we've had a couple of talks that really showed that you have a great interest in the safety of the city, and I do appreciate that. And even though it was short, thank you for serving.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tina and Dirk, for your service.
I would like to also thank Dirk for his service through our partnership for the Ambulance Association. He's been a stellar advocate for everything that's gone on, and it's appreciated. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Okay, now we'll do the swearing in of the new council member. I'll have Joan Buchart come up here, please. just kind of repeat after me. Raise your right hand, sorry, yeah.
Okay.
State of Minnesota, County of Goodhue, City of Zumbrota.
State of Minnesota, County of Goodhue, City of Zumbrota.
I, Joan Buchart, do solemnly swear
I, Joan Booker, do solemnly swear
that I support the Constitution of the United States,
that I support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially discharge
and I will faithfully, justly, and
impartially
impartially discharge
the duties of the City Council Member of the City of Zumbrota, Minnesota,
the duties of the City Council member of the City of Zumbrota, Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Now, Kevin Edmondson. Edmondson?
Amundsen.
Oh,
Yes,
Bible.
he is.
Kevin, yeah, left hand, right hand up. State of Minnesota, County of Goodhue, City of Zumbrota.
State of Minnesota, County of Goodhue, City of Zumbrota.
I, Kevin Edmondson.
I, Kevin Amundson,
Edmondson, sorry. Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I support the Constitution of the United States,
that I support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially discharge
and that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially discharge
the duties of the City Council Member of the City of Zumbrota,
the duties of the City Council member of the City of Zumbrota,
Minnesota,
Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. Well, welcome the two council members to the City of Zumbrota. Accounts payable, Bob Creedy.
I just want to highlight a couple of them. First one was 78285, that was for Minnesota Energy, 9,655.66. And the other one was WHKS, number 78296, for $61,727.38. For the sewer Jefferson Street project and the 6th Street project. The rest of them seem pretty normal. So I'll make a motion to approve accounts payable of $105,152.05.
Second.
Any further discussions? Yeah. All in favor? Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Bob. Public comments. Individuals may address the city council about any item of concern. Speaker must state their name and limit the remarks to 5 minutes. Any public comments portion?
Increases that are coming up. I'd like to talk about them. Where did you get numbers from to increase?
Which ones are you?
Any of them, the ones that I'm more concerned about, increases in the utility bills, including storm water fee, increasing to $1.50 from 75. And the street light fee increasing from $4.25 to $3.25. Don't our taxes cover streetlights?
Okay, what we're going to do on that, we're going to stop that because we have a public hearing for the fee schedule or for the fee schedule.
Oh, so you don't
Yeah.
want to hear about
Yeah,
this now?
Yeah, we didn't know what it was about, so we're going to jump that because we do have a
Oh.
public hearing for that.
Perfect,
So we'll jump to that when we
Okay.
get there. So give me 2 seconds. We'll do
Okay.
that. Any other public comments?
just one. The fairgrounds, people walk out there and those sidewalks aren't being taken care of.
Well, here's,
Is it county?
that's county.
It is.
Well, you're talking, well, we made it a trail and not a sidewalk. So when we did that classification because
Oh.
of the plowing situation, so when that was put in, we classified that as a trail. So then the city's not responsible or will not be plowing that because
Okay.
it's so short notice or a boulevard that
Okay,
it gets dumped over. So when we put that in, because of County 6's reconstruction, it was a sidewalk or a trail, and we had many discussions on that.
okay,
So we classified it as a trail because it's going to be so tough and so many man hours to keep that up.
Okay.
So that's why
I
that.
just see a lot of people walking
Yeah.
and I'm concerned.
Yeah, that is a city trail,
Okay.
but we don't take care of it in the wintertime because it would be so many man hours because there's so much snow that would get brushed on
Okay.
there and there ain't a boulevard. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, and we knew that was going to be an issue or a question when that
Okay,
comes, so.
Okay.
Perfect. And if
Sounds
it was a sidewalk, then the homeowners would be responsible for it, just like in town.
Yeah, good call.
So that one guy that lives
Would
next
have-
to it, he would
Yeah,
have to do
would
the
have
whole.
to do
Yeah.
it. And then there's the
Oh.
fairground, so who does that? The county would
Yeah.
want to do it.
Okay,
And they come through quite often plowing, and we just can't keep up. We don't know when they're going through. And so
That-
that was a
it
whole,
makes
there's
sense.
a whole
Yeah,
number of council
it makes
meetings
sense,
and
but
minutes, so,
there's
yeah.
still people walking on it.
Yeah.
And I'm,
Yeah.
you see stuff. So,
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. I do have just one public comment that I want to reach out that we received today. Just somebody got a parking ticket or a snow ticket. They paid for it, but just wanted to voice their opinion. So if you want to read that, I'm not going to go into detail on it, but just what's the snow ordinance? If it snows, can't park on the street. But just wanted to voice it. We did get a public commentary on that. So any other public comments? I will close the public comment portions, and we will open the public hearing meeting for the 2023 fee schedule. Pat?
Was that me?
Yeah.
What
I'm
she
just
already said.
wondering where this all came from. I thought our taxes covered like the lighting. I never heard of a city saying, okay, you're going to pay for the light out in front of your house. Where does that come from?
Well, that comes from studies. We've got a financial consultant that we work with, Ehlers, and we do studies on all of these things. And we've been pulling out of basically, we don't have the money, and Mike might be able to help explain this a little bit too. Kim is not here with us tonight. She's our financial director. But basically, when we set up the levy and budget items, that handles all of these things. Now, street lighting, water, all of those things, sewer, that is an enterprise deal that is supposed to be taken care of with fees. The fees, they don't cover some of these things the way they're set up right now, or they're not going to be solvent for much longer. And so therefore, we're advised and we change fees as we go, little bits at a time, hopefully, to make sure that we are not pulling from the reserves, because we have to have a certain amount of reserves too. And as of today, for street lighting, some of those things, we've been pulling extra money out of the general fund to pay the shortfall on those things. So we're basically catching
Why
up.
isn't that in our taxes?
Well, it is now. It's going to be, basically, there's a shortfall in those areas.
So when will we not see the fee on our water bill?
Will you not see an increase, you mean, or?
When we will not see it on our water bill? Because you just said it's going over to taxes? Am I-
No, that's part of the enterprise fund.
The infrastructure is what we use it
Infrastructure
for.
things, yeah.
So basically, the stormwater fee and the streetlight fee, what was it, 75 cents, we're going to 2 1/4, and the streetlight fee, we're going from 3 1/4 to 4 1/4 is the two that you're talking, right, Pat?
It kind of,
But
yeah.
I mean, there's a
There was a
couple
lot
other
of them
ones.
on here.
So there's Ehlers that does our study, does all the research and gives us a 10-year map, and we're not going up. We're not building things to help us for the infrastructure when we do street projects. So we're trying to keep that going up or build income. So do we add it to the taxes, or do we add it into this special this special fund in water and sewer? So
And then everyone pays for it, not just people who own property. So
businesses owners that don't live in the state or don't live in the city of
more people
Zumbrota,
are paying
their
for it.
businesses are paying for that too, instead of just the residents. Because we have business owners that own buildings, that have water bills and sewer bills, that don't live in the city. They should also pay that fee as being a business owner. So that's.
But aren't they getting that out of the rent they charge for the buildings they own?
Doesn't go to that. No, because, I mean, with that, so say someone's renting out a building.
They live in the state of Wisconsin, they own a building here and they're renting it out. Is that what you're saying?
Right, so they're
Oh, okay.
renting it to someone, so that renter will
Okay.
pay for it. And it would be in a home too, so that renter of that home would be paying a share of, it spreads it out more evenly for everyone, not just the
I've just never
taxpayers.
lived in a city where I've had to pay for a streetlight. I've just never seen that before in any city I've ever lived in. So
These fees are recommended from our financial advisor.
I,
So
I believe you, I
yeah.
believe you. I just had
It's not
never
a-
seen it
it's not a-
before.
It's not unheard of thing.
Okay.
Mhm.
And what's happening everything's going up. We know that, right? Some of us that are retired, you're going to force us out of the city because we're not going to be able to pay some of these fees. We are just not going to be able to. It's getting really bad. Our taxes went sky high this year. Even these little fees, every little thing, you know, it's, she works. And she said, they're in the same boat we are. You know, it's awful. It's awful out there.
If you look at your tax statement, and we do this a lot of times, there's a city portion, and there's a school board portion, and there's a county portion.
Right.
The city portion went up 2%.
Right. The cities, we applaud that. We applaud that. The school was unbelievable this year.
And then you look at county took a big hike too. So as a city, we're at 2%. We're trying to, our costs are going up, health insurance and our benefits. So we try to do that. So we took pride. We only went up 2%, which is
and I applaud you guys for that.
$60-$70.
That's fantastic. I'm just, it's all these little things that just, they keep adding up.
Well, and that's why we chose
And that's why
to do
we're
the
questioning.
fees. That's why we chose to do the fees that way, so that it spreads it out to everyone who pays a water bill in the city, not just people who own homes or own businesses.
Does it make a difference that there's more homes in the city?
Because you're bringing in more.
Because you're bringing in more
Yeah,
revenue.
That's part of the equation that they take into consideration when they do these numbers.
Yep, so our levy was 6.53%, and you felt 2.2% because of that increase in market value.
Because of the market values of the
Yep.
homes.
Yep,
Okay.
and also for the city of Zimmer, we still have to run the city regardless of what the school is doing or the county.
Right.
So, and as a city, we have the lowest tax rate other than St. Charles in the whole area. We're about 47%, something like that. I think it went down to 47% this year. Far lower than other communities. So when you say you're going to be forced out, well, there's, if you go look at taxes somewhere else.
I just read Pine Island.
You're living in the lowest tax city.
Because Pine Island just went 16%. I just read that in the paper.
Which is where I moved.
Well, they've got an electric utility so what they've got there is an electric utility where they pull money into their general fund. And so that helps.
But what I'm saying is we're going to have to go and rent someplace rather than own our own home. And that's sad. I want to own my own home. I don't want to rent someplace. I want to own my own home. But it's everything's so expensive. We're trying to cut back where we can. And that's why I'm here. I'm asking, where does this all come from? Who decides all this?
Sure.
And apparently this, a company?
A big study. And we work out with their recommendations. Some of these, we didn't even go up to where they said we should.
I think
Quite a
water
few.
rights were one of them that, because they have projections, we got infrastructure and projects to do. So what they thought we should do and what we actually did, and I don't have the numbers in front of me.
Okay.
As a council, we make a decision of where we want to be. They just give us the numbers and the information to make our decision a little bit easier versus just throwing a number out of the sky.
Okay.
And I mean, they project, okay, we want this project or this street project. What do we need money for 5 years down the road? So it's something that we just didn't pick. It was a lot of work, a lot of other meetings that we've done, and spent a lot of time with Ellers doing the studies for us to put it together.
Okay.
And they compare other cities and what other cities are doing and funding mechanisms like the fees and things like that. Say, okay, if you want to make up this shortfall here, this is what this number of cities are doing. This fee, this infrastructure fee or the street lighting fee.
And our water and
then
sewer
we decide,
bills?
the council decides if they're going to implement that or not. And I think the council did implement those a number of years ago, and then they chose to not for a while. And then we got behind. And so now we're playing catch up again. And so the council decided that, we need to catch up and put these back.
I don't know if you understand this part of it. We don't assess tax, well, we haven't in all the years I've been on council. We don't assess taxes when a street project needs to be done. So if the street in front of your house needs to be done, you're not paying anything extra. We're using that fee to pay for these things.
Mm-hmm.
Unless someone asks us, like on what road was that?
St. Paul.
St. Paul Road, that they wanted
City water and city sewer.
city's water and sewer, they asked us to, but other than that, we don't do that. And most every other city does. So that fee is helping to pay for the roads for everyone.
Sad is, because I've come from an area where they do charge you, is that the people who buy homes in the older areas are gonna know they're gonna have to pay for their roads. But the people who bought a new house are also gonna, in this situation, we're also gonna pay for that. So we've already paid for our new home with a new road, and a road that's 30 years old has to be replaced. So in my taxes, I'm also paying for that road, correct?
Yeah, but that's part of being a city. I mean, we
Right.
can't just take care of your nice road because you live in a nice new home versus.
No, I don't mean that. I don't mean
that's-
that.
that's
That is not what I meant to say.
Okay,
What I'm saying is when you build a home or purchase a home that's new, you have paid for that road, or is the city paying for that new road?
the developer pays for that.
Right, the developer pays
Which
for it,
passes,
which
yeah.
passes it on to
Yeah.
me. So if I'm not saying I did this, but if I bought a new home, I am paying through that developer, through the realtor, for that new road. And at the same time, I'm paying higher taxes to fix a older road.
But we take care of your road throughout the year in the standpoint of chip seal when it gets 3 to 5 years old. We plow it, we repair any ditch, repair any damage to the, so, we still take care of your road. Your road may not be as much taken care of because it's a new road versus this 30-year road. So but every 3 to 5 years, we got to chip seal it, and then we might have to do an overlay at whatever that is, 10, 15 years is kind of the goal. So,
Okay.
That's just a process that we have to take as a city to take care of our infrastructure and our streets.
And we're actually still lower taxes than any other community.
And we're also, we see this numbers, our sewer bill and our water bill is quite a bit lower than I know Pine Island that we deal with. They're like double our size or double our price.
It depends on a number of
Yeah.
factors, but
What time of the year do you guys do your budget or release your budget for public?
September.
Yeah.
September?
September 25th or by the end of September is when we have to submit the preliminary. So it's usually the second meeting in September that we're out with the preliminary budget. The Truth and Taxation meeting is always the second meeting in December when we discuss the final levy. This year it went down a little bit between the preliminary and the final.
And I know as council, we start working on our budget in May?
So Kim and I are working on the budget now. As soon as we get going here, we're going to start tweaking things. We're actually in the middle of a capital financial planning, improvement planning as well. So a lot of this stuff will be worked on the whole month, or the whole year, I should say.
Okay. And we're just here asking questions.
No,
I hope
yeah,
that's how you learn.
Just
Yeah, that's how you
asking.
learn.
Appreciate that.
I didn't know.
You guys can come to every meeting and
Yeah.
we'll let you know.
That's
when we
okay.
have our, You'll learn a lot.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of people asking
Yeah.
questions. This is great.
Yeah.
Oh, we have Citizen Hotdegger back there.
I know, citizen upstaker, I like it.
Well, we just got our water bill. My water bill this month was exactly the same as last month. How can that happen?
Because they average it.
How does that happen?
Mike, can you answer the way the readers read?
Yeah, because they'll read, and it depends on the time of month when they read them, but I think they read thousands.
Thousands.
It's thousands, so if you're the same 1,000, you'll be the same
In that
price.
same,
And I don't know your specific living situation, but a lot of people living alone, or just a couple of people living in a house, they use minimum water.
Yeah, you and Bob probably take the same amount of showers every week and you do the same amount of dishes. Now, a family of 4, you have 5 kids or whatever, and you got several showers or whatever, it could take more. So that's why you're pretty consistent, and they just round to the nearest 1,000.
Okay,
Whether it's just a minimum, you could be just
Okay.
using a minimum amount, and that's a charge that the city has, just the minimum.
Okay.
So-
okay, got it. Because I got 2 bills that were the same. I thought, that's weird. But then, not last time, but the time before, it was $10 cheaper. And I thought, what did I do different? I
You
don't
must
think
be
I-
going like 1,002 gallons over the minimum.
Maybe I didn't drink as
Yeah.
much coffee and flush my toilet as much. I don't know. Exactly.
Mine is 12,000 gallons. So I don't even know if it's 1,000 here.
So, okay, that explains that. Thank you very much.
One item to note too, I'm not sure what meeting it is that Lavon comes here.
Blaine
They
it?
don't come here anymore. You have to go down to the
Down to the
county.
county.
That is the,
Stinks.
oh, I'm gonna lose that.
I know.
Property taxes, I'm the tax.
Oh, what's that meeting
Call the
called?
truth in
Basically, you can
taxation,
go
but it's
ask
not.
about, you can go talk about the value, how your house was valued and your, because that's what your taxes are based on.
We went last year. We didn't know we had to sign up before we got there. And so they wouldn't let us talk.
Really?
They sent us home.
Well, and you can call them anytime.
Yeah, and they were going to come out and see us. Yeah, they never did.
Didn't make it up? I can't remember what that meeting is called now.
I should know it because I'm
You're part of it.
certified, so I'm the one that has to. I can't even remember what it's called.
Weird. It's a different term. I can't think of it either offhand.
Yep.
I think there's a neighborhood association that's gonna also show up down there. Because they feel that their properties are valued higher than what they could actually even sell it for. So
Well, make sure you call in so you get signed up.
Yeah.
Should be our neighborhood.
now we're bringing Levon to the neighborhood.
Okay. Thank you
Perfect. Any more
for all the
questions?
explanations. I
Anytime, Pat.
Yeah,
Anytime.
really
Thank you for the
appreciate
question.
it.
Anytime. Any more questions on the fee schedule? I will close the public hearing on the 2023 fee schedule. Let's jump to new business, 2023 Public Works Year in Review. Mike,
Yeah, 2022. Thank
or
you.
2022. You wrote 2023.
I was hoping to catch Dirk before he left, but with Tina here, I wanted to get this in front of him as long as I knew you guys are going to be here to see what you helped support throughout the year too. And to the new members, just kind of see what goes on in front of us. It's been another busy year for the Public Works, just a normal routine of plowing and street sweeping, cleaning sewers, street projects, park maintenance, and storm sewer maintenance. Continued work of monitoring at the sewer plants, and everything is done. Those guys do a really good job, and I just want to give Larry, Paul, and Jeff, and Ron and Chris a big thank you because they put in a lot of hours and a lot of work, and this week has really been a lot of work for them, a lot of hours with plowing. On the wastewater side, Paul and Jeff continue to be busy with the day-to-day operations and maintenance, and continue to work on the water sides of things, figuring out solutions for the North Booster Station, and more of the housing that is being added to that area creates some problems with that. Also pushed off a bit, but was the new PLC we had ordered for the plant, and that's been pushed back just because of not being able to get equipment ordered. Other maintenance this year was the sludge pumps went out on them, and they had to replace that. And their work really goes unnoticed too, but they really do a good job of running that plant out there. So on the park side, we've got parks were really busy and diligent with keeping the parks looking nice and adding some amenities. One of the highlights this year was the Veterans Memorial. That's a really great addition to the parks. The park board was into putting in a new parking lot and paving the driveway going in. Also, we finished up with pickleball and basketball courts down there on that cement slab, adding 9-hole disc golf. They're adding that in. And then the big addition for them is the bathroom up at the shelter. That's going to be really a nice addition for the parks up there. And a big thank you to Larry Holst and Dennis Springer. Fred was involved in Doug Borschat's and we got it started. That has to be completed yet. That'll be completed in May, what they're hoping to have it. And then, of course, the softball fields with the benches. And then we had the covered bridge. We added the pavers there, which I think really turned out nice. The guys put in a new railing around it on each side, and the poles, they put in the new poles. We also had the Isaac Walton building. We tore that down this year. Building was in quite the shambles, and we're gonna eventually we want to get some picnic tables out in that cement slab there. It'll be somewhere down the road, hopefully the trail will be connected out that way. That's where the snowmobile trail runs now, but, and then our mill and overlays this year was, we did some more out at Zumbro Woodlands. We did the library parking lot, and I know we did some alley work down between 3rd and 4th. And then with that new apartment building, there was some additional work done there for the alley work there and on the street side too. Oh, we had the fire hall this year. It's finally complete. It was a really nice project to get done. We did a lot of patching on that over the years. And it was, the Amish did the steel on that, and they did a really nice job. We got our new GPS monitoring that you guys had let us purchase there. We did started with our ash trees, which we're going to have a lot of work to do on the ash trees. They treated 11 of the trees coming into the park, and then that was just showing the map. We went around. There's 125 ash trees in Covered Bridge Park alone. So the grant that we're writing will only cover about half of the cost of removal. So we're hoping to get a couple grants to work that into. And then we had some storm sewer work up there. That was in Meyerhofer 4th. You can see the before and after pictures, but we had just cleaning up that ditch area there. We had some issues with the water not draining correctly. So Larry and the guys took down a bunch of the trees, and then we had Schumachers do the work in there on the actual excavating and grading of that work there. Jefferson Drive, everybody knows that was postponed. We did get started on it with some tree removal, but that'll be a big project for us coming up this summer, and hopefully they get started at it early April here. Depending on the weather, it would be nice to get started as early as April, and then we can finish that. So it'll be a nice project to finish. And then just thanks to everybody for all your support. It can't be done without you, with the mayor and the council. It's always appreciated, that work that we can get done. That's all I have. Anybody have any questions?
Any questions for Mike? I just want to say thank you and your guys for doing a great job at snow and ditches and remodels and whatever else you guys do all year round, but we appreciate the hard work you guys do.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks too. The guys do a great job. It's nice from a administrator standpoint to not have to worry about any of that stuff. The plant keeps running, the roads get plowed, all that stuff gets done. So Mike does a nice job with the crew as well.
Perfect. We'll go 11B, Resolution 2023-01, depositories. Brian.
Yep, this is our beginning of the year stuff here that we have to work through. Staff's recommending approving the Franzen Bank and Trust as the official depository.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-01.
Second.
Perfect. We'll do a roll call, Tina or Sarah. I'm looking. Bob.
Tina, that's fine.
Joan. Kevin. Aye passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Brian. Resolution or 11C, Resolution 2023-02, publication.
Staff recommends approving the news record as the official publication of the city.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2023-02.
Second.
Any further discussions? Roll call. Sarah.
Aye.
Bob. Joan. Kevin.
Aye.
Aye passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Brian. 11D, Resolution 2023-03, polling place for 2023.
For 2023, yes. So we got off somehow a couple of years ago. We are supposed to approve these before the end of 2022 for the next year, or where we were supposed to have approved it. So we need to approve the 2023 polling places at this meeting. And that's what this is. And then after this, we will ask for approval on the 2024 polling places, which is exactly the same thing. City Hall as the official polling place for wards 1 and 2 in 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-03. Sorry, Bob.
Second.
Any further discussions? Roll call. Sarah.
Aye.
Bob? Joan? Kevin? Aye, passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Brian. We'll do 11E, Resolution 2023 for polling of 2024.
Same thing, 04 this time.
I'll make that motion for resolution 2023-04.
Second.
Any further discussions? Roll call. Sarah?
Aye.
Bob? Joan? Kevin? Aye, passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Brian. 11F, 2023 fee schedule.
Yeah, there's a couple things I should have probably discussed within the public meeting. But with all the questions, I completely forgot. Kevin asked a question about the UTV, ATV golf cart going from $10 to $15, which is a 50% increase. Each year, Todd, or whoever's the mayor, asks the administrator to look at what the area fees look like, just to see if we're falling behind anywhere, if we're too much somewhere. And this was one of those that I looked at a bunch of different communities. There's 15, 25, 25, 25. There's $10 for 3 years. There's $30 for 3 years. $10, 25, 10. Wanamingo is closest, and they're charging $15. And so that's why I picked 15. I talked to Pat on how long it takes. He thought 10, maybe 15 minutes to do it. So as far as staff time, I think $15 is reasonable as far as covering staff time. A little more reasonable than $10 was. So that was the reasoning behind that one.
This is a yearly?
Yep, this is a
Every
yearly
year?
one. Yep. Like I say, there's other areas that are 25. Lake City's 25 per year. So I don't think we're out of line. But I think $10 was falling a little short of paying for the staff time required. So that's why I put that in there. And then I wanted to have some discussion on the cannabinoid. Cannabinoid, am I saying that right, Pat? License. It ranges from $180 to $10,700 for a license in the state so far. And not everybody has this yet. There's not a lot of smaller cities that have rewritten their ordinance yet. The one that I modeled our ordinance, or Matt and I modeled our ordinance after, was Austin. We kind of used that one, and I think Albert Lee maybe some. But anyway, Austin was $1,000. That's why I put $1,000 on here. Discussion with staff is that these cannabinoids, they are an intoxicating substance, just like liquor. So there was some thought that maybe it should be just like liquor, $2,300. And in doing some research, there's thoughts both ways out there in the news and on different cities and what they adopted. Some of them follow the tobacco license. Some of them follow their liquor license. Some of them are way above their liquor license. So it's just a matter of, as a council, how you feel, where you think we should be with that license fee for the THC or cannabinoids.
You want my opinion?
Yes.
That's what we got, yeah.
I don't mind paying the $2,300 fee. It's a lot, but because I make enough money to sustain that license. I think that the cannabinoid license should be, and maybe $1,000 is it, but as a vendor, you would look at it, is it worth me buying the license?
Absolutely.
And I don't know the answer to that because I don't sell it, or may or may not, but that's just my.
Yep, and was a consideration, or is a consideration too. Who knows? Nobody knows yet.
I don't
Really,
think it
there isn't
should be
enough.
as much as the liquor license because it's not going to.
Yep, and that can be
profit,
considered.
the income,
Right,
yeah,
it
the
wouldn't
volume.
do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if 1,000 is the right number, but
And once we know more about it in years going forward, 1,000 is pretty close to what I've seen, kind of the average
and I
out
think
there.
that's probably fine. I just am saying that's a consideration we should have.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
So
What was the city that was 10,000?
Woodbury,
Woodbury, $10,000 for that.
bigger city.
But
Brooklyn
still,
Park is $1,500 plus a background check of $500. So is Northfield.
How many cities or communities are doing it?
Have adopted anything so
Yeah,
far?
adopted.
Oh, I don't know.
very little. I mean,
Very few. I mean,
Yeah.
for, like, as a town of 2,300 people, are we
there's not very many of us.
Looking at it right now, they actually asked for our ordinance just to see what we did.
Ahead of the game for some of the people.
Yeah, so what happened was a lot of communities put a moratorium on sales. Well, they took time to look at this. And we didn't do that. We had one business selling it in town and no issue. So we didn't want to put a moratorium on and stop all of that. So we chose to get to work on the ordinance and Matt was a bunch of help on that.
But this is the thing, the way that it reads now, it's all up in the air because they passed this law without any rules to it. So you could at the Dairy Queen, you could have a little shed in the back that you sell this out of. I mean, everyone can sell it. You could open your garage door and sell it out of there. Anyone can sell it. So I think it's important to have a license fee because then not everyone will do it.
Right.
It's important to have the ordinance because right now, the way the statute is written, it doesn't say anything about a person 21 years old giving it to someone underage. It doesn't give any enforcement.
Really, there's a big.
And it doesn't say how close you can be to a school. There's a whole bunch of things that are not in the statute are not covered.
And that's what the state passed.
Right.
So we're just.
The liquor industry who has been wanted to have it written so that we're already selling a controlled substance, so we should be the ones selling it. But right now, I can't legally, well, I can legally sell it, but I can't, it goes against my liquor license, my state liquor license. There's 13 things on that list and that's all I can sell out of a liquor store. And that isn't on it, so I can't sell it. So it's all kind of up in the air. Hopefully they're gonna review it and after their session, they'll have something better written than what's currently written.
I'll be at a regional Minnesota clerks and finance officers meeting on February 2nd. And they're going to have a couple of the state people in to speak to us on this. The whole meeting is dedicated to this stuff. So I'll get some more information then. But right now we got the ordinance and we just need to attach a license fee. And I think $1,000 is reasonable to start with. You know, we may revisit that if you know, if it gets to be like liquor and they're making a lot of money on it, you know, maybe the fee should be a little higher then. But for now, we don't know. Nobody knows.
But then you also keep the smaller people that just want to put a little shop somewhere. $100 is nothing.
Yeah.
So they can sell $500 a week and make it worthwhile.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, it's kind of, is it a dollar amount that'll kind of slow some people trying to get the license? So I mean.
There's no liability towards the city as far as offering that license for them to purchase. Is there, once we give that license, we're just setting a dollar value.
Right, but we can then say if they don't have a license, we can shut them down.
Or if they violate it, there's
Because they'll be
checks, just like liquor and tobacco and, or just like, yeah, it's tobacco.
So that helps pay for our officers' time doing checks on stuff like that too, so.
And that's a big part of it.
Personally, my opinion is that it should be equal to the alcohol license. Because it's ultimately a similar type of thing. It is a substance that will, you know, intoxicate the person. Maybe it's not the exact same way, but it's still something like that. And I realize our state didn't do a great job when they passed the laws on this, and they kind of put it on the cities to regulate how we're gonna, you know, enforce it. Well, you know, there's only, like Brian said, there's only a few communities that are actually doing something. And I've listened to the chief of Austin, and they're really taking the bull by the horns on this. And granted, I don't know what all their fees, you know, how they, you know, measure out, but, you know, what's to stop just about anybody then just getting the license? Because it's ultimately, if they're selling it, they're going to be doing just fine selling it. So it's one of those things that certainly makes a lot of money. And, you know, my concern is, you know, with the lack of the state's laws on this, how do we deal with, you know, our youth getting involved in this? Because, I mean, we're already dealing with it the way it is illegally. When you legalize it it's gonna explode. And, my understanding when Colorado legalized the use of recreational marijuana and saw the big dollar signs and the taxes that they would get in this, they didn't consider the social costs that it would take, that would, affect their state and the expenses of law enforcement services, social services. That stuff went hundreds and hundreds of percent higher than it was in the past. And they attribute a lot of that to the legalization of marijuana. I'm not for it, clearly, you could probably tell, but ultimately, if our state's going to decide that we're going to legally sell it, then we should have some good regulations on it. We need to have good fines involved in violations of it. I mean, there's nothing. So we're left holding the bag on that. I personally think then if we're going to do it, reflect it similar to a liquor license. Not everybody in town has a liquor license. Maybe not everybody in town should have a license to sell marijuana. That's just my 2 cents.
I get that. But the stuff is not cheap to buy, so you would have to start a store, pay the $1,000. You'd have to have quite a bit of money to start one, is all I'm saying. And then have to make that, I don't know. I don't know what we should put the fee at, quite honestly, and I don't know. I don't know how much.
Like when Colorado legalized it, it was every form of it, essentially. And so there were stores that popped up and made over $16 million in the first 2 months. I don't think we're going to see anything like that in Minnesota with just edibles as they are. But I share Pat's concern as far as the social impact on availability of it if it's priced too low, if it's basically given an advantage over alcohol when the desired effect is an extreme of what alcohol does. A lot of times you would have, with alcohol, you're going out to the bar, you're having a couple drinks, and that's not going to impair you immediately versus cannabinoids, which stay in your system for much longer periods of time. And that doesn't have a couple hour half-life. It is actually going to stay in your system for quite a while. It's going to affect drug tests as far as anyone with a CDL. That's one of those aspects that because it stays in your system so long, that's opening up the availability of it without somebody taking the precautionary steps. I think putting that higher price point on this entry point will just give us as a city a better forward-facing step. I would put them at the same level.
Have you had anyone ask about a license since it's been legalized?
Yes, actually, we have one. The new, there's going to be a new tobacco shop in town. We haven't heard back from them, but this came up along the way and they asked about that just a couple days ago, that license as well. I told them that we were going to.
I was just wondering,
Approve the
if it's,
fee.
I mean, has it been a hotbed of activity or,
Yeah,
you know?
No, that would be
That's all I'm
the
saying.
second one. I mean, first one didn't ask because the ordinance wasn't in place yet.
Right.
But the second one did ask, so. No, it hasn't been a big one yet.
Is anyone selling in town?
Yes. Yep, cover bridges.
Oh, so you can,
They're willing to risk their liquor license over it. I am not.
because they don't realize, do they know that it's?
Yep, so we
They should. I mean,
got the one. but
You would
that-
think if you looked at your liquor license, yeah, you'd see
But
it.
I think people they're just betting that they'll just get a slap on the wrist and say, don't do that. But.
They were in
I'm
before the
willing to
ordinance. They will have to get the permit as soon as we get the fee set here.
Once you get it.
The license.
I don't know what they think, actually. I mean, I'm just speculating, but,
I guess I would be in favor of a higher fee than $1,000.
Okay.
I don't know much about it. What are the effects of these? I know they're longer lasting, but as far as consuming these compared to alcohol?
Well, it'd be the same thing if you had too many drinks as if you ate too many gummies.
Well, how many gummies is it gonna take to equal a drink, maybe, I guess
It
should be my
depends on
question.
the person.
Like the stuff that's legal in Minnesota, it's meeting a certain maximum percentage of the cannabinoids, whatever.
What if they ate the whole jar?
Justin, do you have any intake with you being a DRE? You'd probably more,
Justin only takes one gummy.
that's on the weekend.
Just kidding.
Personally, I'm not supportive of it because.
Justin, you gotta talk into this thing.
Because with this level, it's a slower effect of intoxication. And so if somebody takes one and they don't feel the effect like you do here, they'll take two, they'll take three, they'll take four, and then now we have an overdose. And that's happened several times in our community. And that's the fear that I have with this, is the misuse of it. It is an intoxicating substance. People drive with it, it's just as bad as an alcohol DWI if they're driving with it. So I do agree that it should be held to the standard of alcohol when it comes to licensing, because of it is such an intoxicating substance, and it can be so dangerous as well.
We just need to make a motion,
I probably shouldn't vote on this, so this part of it. I mean, I'll vote on the whole fee schedule, but not this part.
I'll make a motion to move that cannabinoid fee to the same as a liquor license.
I'll second.
so we just want to make a motion on adjusting, changing that price and leave Sarah out. Is that the best? And then she
I
can
think so.
agree to
Yep.
the whole fee schedule?
We'll
Okay,
put it
we'll
at
do it that way.
$2,300, same as the liquor then.
So we got a motion by Bob and a second by Joan. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Oppose?
Abstain.
Abstain? Passes 4-0-1. So I just need a motion to.
Approve the
put
amended.
No, we already approved that, so we just need a motion to, for the proposed 2023 increases with the $2,300 already
Yeah, as
approved, amended.
Does anyone have any problem with any of the other fees? Should
Oh, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
question first, but.
And I think everybody understood the water and sewer and the lighting. I think, were you two at part of that
Yep.
too with
Yep.
Ellers? So yeah, you kind of knew where they were coming from.
Yeah, so most of these are set based
Yeah.
on those things. The other one that changes the park board fee, the shelter fee. We went up to 125 on that because there's going to be there's a bathroom now and a sink inside the building. So it's much improved up there. So we figured a little bit more to help offset some of that would be good.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposed fee schedule for 2023.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Passes 5-0-0. 11G, 2023 annual appointment. I think everybody got that. I just want to run through just a few changes. Joan, you're going to go to the water department, to WWTP. And a lot of these, I don't think that they've ever met in the 6 years that I've been on council, and Sarah's been there, but so we just had to
We've met
point.
for the sidewalks
Yeah.
2 times now.
Yeah.
We're on a roll.
Kevin's gonna go to the area ambulance. Park board will be Kevin. I'm gonna move to the EDA with Sarah. And Joan's gonna go to the planning. And there's one change on the emergency service board. It's not Mike Boris because he's not the fire chief. It's actually John Olson. Is the only thing. So that's them are just the quick changes that we had. So I just need a motion to approve the appointments by mayor.
Oh, Bob got on there. Oh, great. Awesome. Bob Holly got on the EDA. Glad for that.
Yep. Yeah, there are a few changes on the boards. You want me to run through those?
You can if you want. But.
We can read
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you just read through it.
I was just reading it.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2023 appointments.
I'll second that.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. 11H, Resolution 2023-05 approving the lawful gambling at Zumbrota Golf Club.
Yes, we received an application from the Zimbrota VFW requesting a lawful gambling license be approved for the Zimbrota Golf Club. I've attached the application, and along with the application, I have to submit a resolution. So staff
They want to
recommends.
have pull tabs and E-tabs
Yes.
at the golf course.
Yeah.
Yep. And staff is recommending approval of the lawful gambling license for the Zimbrota Golf Club.
I'll make a motion. Should I vote on this? I mean, I have gambling at mine.
I don't think that'll, I mean,
Shouldn't.
Just a premises. So
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-05.
roll call, Sarah.
Aye.
Bob? Aye. Joan? Kevin? Aye, passes 5-0. Thanks, Brian. 11I, 2023 Dairy Concept Treatment Agreement. Just a couple changes, right, Brad?
Yep, a couple of changes. When we did last year's agreement, we set some minimums that we needed to adhere to as far as the BOD and TSS. It's a whole bunch of water sewer lingo, but the engineers kind of take care of that. But we did that along with Paul and Jeff to keep our plant running at the optimal level. Since over the year, we've determined that we can lower those limits a little bit and still be where we need to be with the plant. And we'll go another year with the newer limit. And then if it's still running optimal and Paul and Jeff feel we could lower a little bit more, we'll keep whittling away at some of these things. And what that does is cut down on some penalties that DFA has been paying, trying to meet some of these limits. But we were very careful that by lowering some of these things or changing these limits, that it's not going to affect the operation of the plant. The engineers looked at it, Paul and Jeff were okay with it, and so that's what we're proposing. Other than that, everything else is the same in there. For the foreseeable future, we'll be doing 1-year agreements with the DFA to accept their waste. They're still working on a discharge of their own, working with the MPCA. We've been working closely with them, consulting with them and answering questions in that effort. So, but for the foreseeable future, each year we're going to have one of these to approve.
Last year, we changed some of the fees and things that they were incurring down to I think it was $10,000 monthly, and then watch those fees. Did that all stay consistent with what we changed it to?
We made an adjustment somewhere along the line. I'm trying to remember because we did an interim adjustment that we brought here, and I can't remember what that was. If that had to do with that.
I was just wondering if the past 6 months are reflecting this new contract going forward, so everything is being consistent?
Yes, yeah, everything's consistent the last 6 months for sure, with the exception of the new fees that Ehlers recommends for water, sewer that is passed along to everybody. There's a separate set of industrial user fees, and those increased proportionally within the contract or the agreement. It's not a contract, is it?
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the, what's it called? Dairy Concepts LP Treatment Agreement.
I'll second that.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Thanks, Brian. Reports. Brian?
Yes. Sanitary District. We have a meeting here at City Hall tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. with our local state legislators to present the sanitary district effort. This will be similar to what we did before. We just have a lot of new players now. A lot of the legislators changed. We have Senator Drazkowski now, so he's still part of it, just on the Senate side. And then there are some other changes too with redistricting. But we'll have a good crowd here. I think the only one that's not going to make it is Altendorf, Pam Altendorf. She's going to be out of state, but she's going to catch up later with a lobbyist and with Steve Drazkowski to get the details. So we're back at it with that. The bills will be written. Tomorrow we'll determine who's going to carry the bills and all those logistics. It's more of a work session type thing. to iron all that out. So quite a bit more to come on that real soon. We're going to be busy with that. We're going to attend a legislative day in
March 7th.
March 7th. We'll attend a legislative day up there and visit with our representatives and senators up there in their offices as well. So we'll continue to work on the capital financial and improvement plan. We are taking another deep dive into equipment schedules. I think both Mike and Pat had some questions there, so we're going to iron out some things there. Ehlers is working on the community center pool concept. They're going to develop costs and comparisons and projected annual operating costs. Just so we've got that solid baseline with something that we would like, would be a wish thing for us. So Christina's working on that as well. We have a revised pool plan. So working with the park board, we thought, okay, let's go back and see revised, I think revision number 26 or something like that. We were able to come up with a $4 million pool rather than a $6 million pool. And again, as just something else to look at, along with a community center option or whatever we might want to do with that. We just want to have as much information and as to see where we could get to with that pool. Ehlers will plug different numbers in for bonding for a pool parallel to the community center effort. They'll plug in $1 million or $2 million and see what that does to our levy along with other projects, just so we can make an informed decision when the time comes. We are going to move forward with the Public Works FTE interviews. We're going to try and set them up for next week. So we need to set a date before you leave. And then I'll make calls, or Mike will make calls, and we'll get them in here next week and hopefully have a hire by the end of the week, next week. And then throw it to Beth at some point for an ambulance update too.
Perfect. Are you done?
I'm done.
Thanks, Brian. Beth?
Just a couple of little things here. The ambulance director will be setting up a per capita assessment to be paid after next week. Oh,
You're good.
The EMSRB, which is the Emergency Medical Service Regulatory Board for the state of Minnesota, will be in-house the third week in January to do a top-to-bottom assessment of the services. We had very few deficiencies when they came through last time, and we anticipate very few, if any, this time. So stay tuned for that. Moving forward, the executive board meetings and the full board meetings, they made a decision last month to move those meetings from every month on Tuesdays, the fourth Tuesdays, to every month on the fourth Wednesday. So that will be a minor change for Mr. Amundsen. And that's about it. I do have one clarification. As you made appointments with Mr. Amundsen being appointed, does that remove me from my position?
That's a good question.
Because in the past, I had been the appointee, and when Dirk came, then we created this liaison. And so that affects who the voting member is at the Ambulance Association. And so I just need to clarify if that changes my role substantially or not at all.
I think it was under the impression that it wasn't going to at all.
I hadn't changed anything on here other than I took Dirk off and put Kevin on there. So it still says Beth Stum, Kevin Amundsen. So nothing changes.
Okay.
Everything's going well.
I appreciate that, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Beth. Chief?
Nothing tonight.
Thank you. Matt?
Oh, it was on there.
Okay, I'm going to be trying to make some contact with some area attorneys to see if they'd be willing to, any of them would be willing to act as an arbitrator for the Benson property. That's all.
Perfect. I have nothing except for welcome Joan and Kevin to Council of Zumbrota. Sarah?
That's it for me.
Bob? Joan?
Thank you.
Kevin?
Exciting to see how this works from
Yeah.
this side, so.
Be ready. Meeting adjourned.
Okay, so